Okay, I'm here. Right. So today I'm gonna be um, today I'm gonna be working on the Tesla coil, um, and it's already partway done. I think I did some of it on stream. This was a while ago because I have been away in Germany, gallivanting around at Gamescom, and so that was really fun. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my headphones because they're too loud. Right, so I've been at Gamescom. I was volunteering there as a volunteer for the DevCom developer conference that's part of Gamescom this year. And it was really fun. I got to meet amazing people, had a great time. It was exhausting. And then got to enjoy the Gamescom show as well and play lots of games. But now we're back to work. So, uh, what I'm doing today is I'm working on the Tesla coil, so I'll go ahead and play what we've got so far. So right now we've got the Tesla coil. It charges up. It doesn't make any audio. That's one thing I need to add is an audio for charging up. Um, Now see here, it's passively attacking this bandit rider who's in its way, and then also I can charge up and then zap those guys. Now there's no visual effect for either attack yet, and there's no audio effect for either attack. So today I need to add the visual and audio effects for the attacks and the audio effect for the charging up. And then I also have a few other smaller just checking to make sure that all of the design parameters are working properly and that all edge cases are handled. For example, what happens if an enemy is killed whilst being locked onto and before the beam is fired. So that's what I'm doing today. So first of all, I'm going to work on this charge up because that's kind of, I don't know, just sequentially what should come next according to my mind. So I've got a Tesla coil object here, which is associated with this prefab. And I have not been looking at this for like 2 weeks, so it might take me a minute to get my bearings again. So we've got our weapon. Right now it uses a recharge animation here. So honestly, the easiest thing might simply to be to add the animation. Uh, Hi. It might simply be to add the animation into the sorry, add the sound into the animation, because then I don't have to. I don't. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have a simple way to have an audio effect happen, like partial recharge. I have an easy way to trigger audio using the weapon audio on the event like weapon became ready, but I don't have something for like the sequential charge, and this is meant to go like a different sound as it charges up. And actually, uh, now that I think about it, this might not even work because these charges, this is meant to loop, right? Okay, I need to talk to I need to talk to my husband about this because I think we talked about this. Now, the fully charged has a constant sound, but I'm okay with having this sequential looping sound, but I think when it's fully charged, we also need some kind of chime or indication. Hey, it's fully charged, it's ready to use. Um, so yeah, I might have to change that um, because yeah, I think we need something else. But for now, okay. So actually, given that this is looping, I have to change my plan, my barely formed plan. Pardon me, I'm very snuffly. I think it's just my cat. I'm allergic to her. I take I take antihistamines for it, but it doesn't always work that well. Anyway, okay, so I don't think I can actually do this in the animations very well then, because that works fine for triggering single things, but whenever you need to turn a sound off and on, it's not going to work as well. So I think I might need to uh, do something else. Okay, Sai, let's see here. Where have I got myself into? This is what I want. So this weapon, uh, well, I might be able to manage this. So I think, here's the animators. Let's see what I've got in this audio, and I don't think I can. So right now I have play audio, no, play SFX, play sound on animation event. Okay, so this is the script that I use for this kind of stuff. Got sounds here. I don't think I have a way to turn these sounds off. I don't think they're meant to currently. Um, But I could add that. I could extend this script. And in fact, I might already have. So let's just see here. So if I add one, we got this element here. Okay, so it can be parented, it can have a clip, and it has info, but it doesn't say whether it's being turned off or on. So what I might be able to do, oh no, I do have active sounds. Play sound. Okay, active sounds is stored, and stop sound. I do have stop sound, so I can stop a sound by a specific ID. So if I have that sounds data set to loop, that should be fine. I actually should be able to do this with all my existing scripts. Okay, thank you, Past Sarah, for being forward thinking. Oh dear. Okay. So, right. What I can do now is go get those sounds, which would be not in the framework. Here we go. So we've got Tesla charge. So we're going to have, it looks like we have 4 of these. Charge 2, charge 3, and though in retrospect, ha hum where is this animator actually located? This is not it, right? Okay, so this is not gonna work. What can I do here? What can I do? All right, right. Oh, grumble. Okay, so I'm not sure this is gonna work because right now this is using this name directly. So if I trigger it like on charge up, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. Because I want a different sound for each of these, but they are all using the exact same animation. Um, so, I think, yeah. See, they are using the same. They're using different animators, but the animations within here are the same. So one thing I could do is, I've never done this, but it's something I really want to check out because it seems like it'd be quite powerful, is I could add a behavior into the animation. But, sorry, I'm so snuffly. I'm not sure that's going to be the best way. Okay, so I can't just trigger them with the animation. I can for this one, because it's going to have, here, this one, because it's going to have its own separate animator here. And there's no overall animation. See, if these were triggered with a overall animation, this would be a lot easier, but they are not. I might need to do something else. I might need a new script. Let's see what I have. Okay, so if I go back to the weapon. Okay, so this is here. If we do, do we have any weapon recharge audio changer? Oh no, we need an accelerator for that. That's not what I want. That's something else. Poop. Okay. Right, that's something else. I really should probably rename that because it's not, that wasn't clear. Okay, Okay. So the recharge animation just simply sets this charge based on that. I think the best way to do this may be to add behaviors to these. I can try to make them generic. So I've never used these before, so I'm not entirely sure what they do. I think they have like an enter state and an exit state, and I think they receive the game object that they're attached to. Or maybe the animator that they're attached to, which you can then get the game object from. Which would be fine. So, well, we actually wouldn't even need that. What we'd need is to just keep track of things. The problem is, what I want... trying to think of how I can get away doing this. The other option is to cheat. Well, really, to extend this a bit. So right now, this audio clip is used as the ID for this sound map. But I may not want that. I think I maybe don't want that. So what I can do is allow a different ID to be set. And if it's not set, I can use the audio clip name. So audio info defaults to clip name. Okay. Oh, I've been using Lua too much. I've forgotten my semicolons. I've been working on a World of Warcraft add-on. I started it ages ago, and I've recently decided to simplify it so I can just get it out because I don't have time to work on it too much. But it's a voice-acted quest add-on. So basically what it does is it's crowdsourced. It's just a framework that allows other people to add their own voice acting for World of Warcraft quests, so that whenever you open the quest, it can automatically play you this voice-acted quest audio. And anyway, I've been working on that. So I've been using Lua, and it's not a good language to jump between because there's some really weird things about it. It's a great language, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to jump between it and more traditional languages because Lua doesn't require semicolons, and its arrays start at 1. Yeah, what? Which is really odd, and it just has some weird conventions. So I'm not quite used to that. Just get back into the semicolons. Right. Okay. Um, uh, um, um. Okay, so where were we? Alright, so we've got sounds. Now what we want to do is down here where on awake, we get our sound data. And what we're going to do here is string ID equals m sounds I, oh, hello, dot ID, null or empty. If it's null or empty, then m sounds I dot clip dot name. Oh wait, I don't need to do this. I can do sound. Ha ha ha. I don't need this shenanigans. If it is not null or empty, then we'll actually use the ID. Pardon me. Okay. Sound ID. Okay, so if the sound ID is null or empty, then we'll use the clip name. Otherwise, we'll use the sound ID to make this. That's what we're using here. That's what we're using here. No. And that's what we're using there. So now, now the maps should be set up correctly, and we don't have to worry about. Oh no, here we got this. Let's see. Who. Can I just maybe just cheat? Alright, so get ID. Let's just do this because I don't want to have to check this multiple times. Oh. Alright, so now rather than having this, we just do sound get ID. I need to make this public. Okay, and now I just noticed because down here we do more stuff. So if the audio clip name is ID, so what we want to do is rather than that, we do audio get ID. Oh, hold on. Okay, no, so active sounds is keeping track of an audio. Ah! Okay. why do I need to do this? This is pointless anyway because we've organized this in a map. Alright, okay, the only problem could be if this audio source was recycled. Right, okay, that's probably why I had this. So what we want is clip name, and what we want is to do something a little bit dumb, but we're going to check this name. Because this will match. So basically what I want to be able to do, I don't know if I quite explained the reasoning behind all of this shenanigans. My problem is that I need to be able to trigger different audio clips from the same animation using a single ID. For example, a charge up ID, but depending on which game object it's attached to, it will trigger either charge up 1, 2, or 3. So that's why I'm separating the ID from the clip name. But this audio source is going to be having the clip name, so we need to check what the actual clip name was originally and then compare. But the ID is not necessarily equal to the clip name. Okay, that's what's happened. This all looks fine now, I think. Let me just check this bottom bit. So, well, actually, let's just check all of it. So we've got awake is fine. We checked that. That's using this ID that we've set up. But now we've got play sound. That'll check by the ID being passed in, get us a sound, play the clip, add it into the active sounds based on that ID, not clip name, and then parent it if desired. Then, when we need to stop the sound, we check if the ID is there. Right, so we're guaranteed that it will be in the sound map. We'll exit early otherwise, so this is fine that I've written down here. Then we grab it from the active sounds and check if the game object, if the audio object is active, if it's playing, and if it hasn't been recycled, because these audio objects are part of an object pool, they can be recycled. So we check if the name is equal to the actual clip that we were trying to play, which is not necessarily the ID. If it is, then we fade it out, and we remove it from our active sounds list. Okay, I think that is fine. So yeah, everything looks good there. I think this will get us what we want. So now, if we go back to our Tesla coil. Okay, so each of these is basically going to have one of these play, sound, on animation, event scripts on them. Okay? So we're going to just call this charge instead of Tesla coil dash charge 1. Because each of these is going to have charge 2, charge 3, and so on. So what's going to happen now is we go to, can we get, why is there a null reference? All right, so if we go to our animations and we want to look at charge up, all right, at the end of charge up, I'm going to put it here. We're going to add an event. We're going to play sound, and it's going to be called charge, okay? So what I've done here is by having this default, it means that if ID is not provided, it will default to the clip, and that means none of my previous scripts are going to break, because that would be bad. I have used this. This is a very generic script that I've attempted to use in many places rather than having too many specific scripts. So all right, so play sound, good, fantastic. Now this one will have play sound and animation event as well, and it will have 1, and it will have the Tesla charge. 2, it will also be called charge. And then, so this one as well, and I'm actually going to add these here, and they'll all have 1. But this one will be Tesla charge 3, and this one will be fully charged. Now something occurs to me. I'm going to have a problem. I don't know if I can fix the problem. Crap. So my problem is that these sounds are going to go on top of each other. Maybe that'll be okay. They might be fine. They're quiet. Right now they're too quiet anyway. I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll see what Roy thinks about the sounds, because it might be fine that they're on top of each other. If they're not, I can do another cheaty thing, um, because I have the amount of charge here. So what I can do is for each of these, I can actually have a little, like, separate animation state that, like, turns off the sound at a specific charge. But at that point, I think we're getting a little bit ridiculous, so I don't know for sure if that's what I want to do. Um, yeah. I could use layers, actually, potentially, to just trigger sounds, rather than, um, that's not a bad idea, actually. So what I could do is add a new behavior to the actual, like make a new type of behavior for the um, states, and have a different layer that actually controls the um, sound effects, and have it be based on charge, so it can still use the same parameters that everything else is using. I'll consider that. For now, I'm going to ignore the problem. Um, and it potentially might not be a problem, so we'll see. Alright, so we've got charge. Alright. So charge up. So when these charge up, each of them will play charge, even though they each charge up at different charge levels. Like this one charges at 0.5, this one charges at 0.25, this one at 0.75, and then this hasn't been set up yet, so it needs to also have a charge up. What's actually happening here? So, okay, that's fine. That's a good time for it. So this is where we'll add play sounds. We're just going to call it charge as well. And then we need to add this charge. Now, the other thing we need to do is for all of these, no, it's not going to work, will it? We need to say this is effects, and we need to set all this to not 0. Alright, we need to loop this, and we can have it fade really quickly in and out. Okay, like, doesn't need to take long. And we don't need to, well, we don't need to parent it, so let's just not do that. So each of these need that. So this needs to be effects, this needs to be 1, this needs to be 1, this needs to loop, and this needs to be 0.25. And the same thing here. Effects, 1, oh, whoops, that we do not want fuzz. Okay, there, loop, 0.25, and the last one, effects, 1, 1, loop, 0.25. 5. Come on, Sarah, you can type. Okay, now, we also need to turn these off. So right now they are only turned on during charge up, but they also need to be turned off. So at the beginning of the discharge function, so we already have, alright, so this isn't discharge. So at the beginning of the discharge function, we will stop sound charge. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for the pole top. So on discharge, we will say stop sound charge. So theoretically what should happen at this point is that these should all start playing, and they're going to stack on top of each other. They're going to keep playing while the other ones play. And then when you fire the weapon, they will stop playing. So that's what we expect to have happen at this point. Let's just see what happens. Oh, I need to disable that. First of all, I need to apply, because I added loads of stuff, and I need to disable it. So let's see. They're so quiet. I think it's happening. Let me just turn up my audio, turn off my music, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear over this friggin' helicopter sound. Let's see. Yeah, definitely works. Fantastic. Okay, so the only thing I need to think about now is whether or not the basically, if Roy comes back and says, no, those can't be on top of each other, but actually I think it sounds good on top of each other, and they just need a bit more audio. They're just too quiet. So he needs to bump up the volume on those. Okay, so that's good though. That's working. So I can check that off. So what have we got here? We've got, this is my hack and plan. I think I've mentioned it to you guys before, but very, very good tool. If you're game dev, I highly recommend it. It's free. Okay, so we have... No, I've not actually, don't even have it on my list. I'm going to add it so I can check it off. Okay. Charge up sound effects has been done. Yay, good job me. Okay. I'm going to move all these, like, actual coding things to later. We're going to do visual effects and stuff right now, because it's more interesting for you guys anyway. Alright, so we've got sound effects, which you can't hear. Yay! I'm going to turn my music back on, because I need it. Or I'm going to die. There. I'll get this back down, because it's loud. Okay, so next up, visual stuff. So right now, we already have an enemy in the game that shoots lightning. So we can use the same... Royce wants to use the same one. So that's the water worm. Water worm shoots lightning. So let's bring him out and take a look at what he does. Alright, so he's got his weapon. Okay, he has a... how does this weapon work? Trace around. Okay. So we have a problem though, because we don't want to fire lightning to each enemy. What we want to do is fire lightning that goes to one enemy and then chains to the other enemies. That's what will look cooler. So we don't want like a three-pronged lightning attack. We want like a... my sound effects are the best. We should just use my mouth as the sound effects. Right, okay. So that's what we need. Music, be quiet. It's too loud. I can't think. Okay. So I think it might just be easiest to simply modify the tracer round to do that, potentially. And just have two fire modes for the different things. So right now, let's see, we got tracer rounds, raycast, blah blah blee blue. So right now, for each target, it does this. So I think it would be a pretty simple matter to, instead of using the start point, because what yeah, see here we do, right, okay, what? Ha hoo hoo. Right, okay, I might need to modify this some, because right now we assume that each hit is in the direction of, like, that everything's going to be hit in a straight line, so maybe potentially we'll have, like a piercing weapon. But in this case, we're hitting multiple enemies. And we're not using raycast. We don't require the raycast module. It can be null. And it assumes that we have a direction that we're set to. Okay, I have to think about this a bit. Basically, we're probably going to add different modes to this weapon, or this effect, rather than adding... the other option would be add separate modules, but I feel like that is just a little bit too much. Modes or modules, I don't know. If I add a separate module, we'll be duplicating a lot of codes. But But I really don't need to do all this raycasting stuff in this module. I just need to be using the target's positions. Okay. I'm going to start with it as a mode. So we want to add a beautiful, beautiful enum. Put it up here. So this will be tracer mode. Alright, so we've got prong or chain or pierce. Okay, so what we were doing before is basically pierce. The other option is prong and chain. What I might do is... oh gosh, I don't know. So what have we got? What does this actually want here? Alright. Literally that. Alright, I'm going to just start a rewrite for this. So, we're going to have start position. That's going to be set. That's fine. What I want to look into really quickly is how my Tesla coil is setting the icon. Is that spawn? Is this being done? Okay. Spawn type target. So what is happening here? Can we just look at this? Okay, so it's the collider's transform positions. That's fine. So that's kind of what we want to use. Right, so what we're going to do here is let's just... bugger. Okay. I'm confusing myself. Get rid of that. Okay, that's fine. Alright. This is getting the actual tracer round, but we might have multiple tracer rounds. So I think this needs to go away. Potentially inside things. So if it's pierce, we can just assume that there's only one target and it goes straight through and it hits everything inside. If it's prong, we're hitting multiple targets, and if it's chain, we are chaining from one target to the next. Which is kind of what pierce is doing, but pierce is doing it along the raycast, whereas chain is doing it in a specific thing. Okay, so alright, so we'll get direction. direction not if direction is not equal to null, then that else vector 3 dot right. Okay. This can be, I'm just writing notes to myself here. This can be updated for each target based on mode used. Okay, so this direction won't always be the same. Okay, so right now we're going to grab this. Basically, only if there's... so that's why direction needs to be done first. Okay, that's fine. Used for Pierce. Okay. I think that'll only be used for Pierce mode. Okay.
Marty says good luck.
Oh, well, thank you, Marty. I appreciate that.
He's not watching right now. He's still working.
Hmm. Okay. Right. The hot completely threw me off. He completely threw me off. So no, I was deep in this, like, thinking about how I'm gonna handle this complicated thing. Okay, right, and trying to remember what the crap I was doing with this code. Okay, so we've got distance, apparently we need, for some reason. What, is this distance used? What is this? Right, okay, that's for Pierce, because when we do Pierce, we only want the farthest away one. So really, this is all Pierce type stuff, right? Okay, so, yeah, only used for Pierce. So, what I think I want to do up here is, oh, what am I doing? Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna get this out of here. Okay, so we don't always need that. Um, what have I just done? Alright, let's just do this. Okay, so for int I equals 0, I less than targets dot count plus plus I. Okay, we've got targets now, so um, this would be set up initially for this. that would be set up initially. This whole thing might need to be separate. This is really fundamentally different, isn't it? Might need to make a different module. Oh, pain in the ass. Okay. Okay, so just trying to figure out what I'm doing. uh, okay. So what I want to do is for simple stuff here, right? What we really need is vector 3, 2, previous point equals start point, right? Okay. So this is for chain. And then what we kind of need here is we want vector to current point equals targets I dot what does this do? Can I go to that, please? Thank you. So that gets the collider gets transferred. That's actually fully what we need. So that's nice. I've made that easier to get. Okay. So current point is that. And what we want is just previous point and there. Now actually hit point, we may want to actually do raycast there. Okay. And then what we will do here is say if we haven't actually set up a variable for this. Oops. Tracer modes. Okay, by default it's going to be Pierce. What are you giggling about back there? You giggling back there? Oh. Your dumb mixes. They're dumb. They're very dumb. I do not approve. Alright, if mode equals Pierce. No, not Pierce. What am I talking about? Chain. Alright, so if the mode is equal to chain, then we want the previous point to be equal to the current point at that point. At that point. Too many points. Okay. Right, alright, so that's fine. So now we need to get this hit point back, right? Okay. So we might just need to do this. So int max oh dear. I'm thinking. Maybe this shouldn't be called Pierce. Maybe it should be called direction. Okay. So I think I want these. So, all right. So if it's in direction mode, that means that you're not going to have a separate hits thing for each uh, target. It'll just have one. So what we want to do is probably I want to put this here. Um, okay, so right, that's there. Now, sorry, thinking to myself here. So this distance is only used for pierce. Now I'm getting confused. Why is this distance needed? I guess it's just to... Because farthest hit keeps track of that. It doesn't seem like it's actually used. So, be gone. Unneeded item. Okay. This is really... This was a difficult thing to jump into after having been gone. Alright, so... Let's rename this. No, that's stupid, Sarah. Just call it previous point. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so, oh dear, what did I do? What have I done? I broke something. Okay, that's fine. Um, target pass. Let's not do that. No. Okay, that's fine. Oh, this is difficult for me. Okay, so I want to get hit points. So I think we're gonna need to do this. All right, so direction is equal to previous point minus current point. Wait a minute. Current point minus previous. Come on now. Come on now, typing. Previous point. We don't need two of those. Okay, so hits we don't need to have there. We're gonna reallocate it. Alright, so okay. Previous point. What the crap? Can we please not redo that? Okay. And again, instead, we will use this. But I don't think we want that. We need to actually acquire the hit point. So we're not going to do farthest hit this time. For int. Okay. Okay, we just need to find if hit collider dot defense is equal to the target that we're currently looking at. Let's do this up here actually. Easy. We don't need those. Okay, so this will give us a new hit point. Okay. And then that can be assigned. So this should only be done for the two other modes, prong and direction, or prong and chain. So okay. Sorry, I'm still trying to think about how this pierce would work for a situation where we had a weapon that could pierce through multiple things. Because if it could pierce through multiple things, you'd kind of want it to show a hit. So it pierces through them. I guess it would. You'd want it to keep continuing afterwards for as long as if it hadn't hit its maximum targets. I'll have to think about that later because we don't actually have a use case for it right now, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. Alright, so I think honestly what we might just do is have a separate section here. Put this inside here and have this be an else. That'll ensure that it keeps the behavior it had before. Nothing will go wrong with the machine gun and the water room and stuff, so. Because basically, if it is direction mode, it's not going to necessarily go through each of the targets. It's just going to find which one is farthest. Anyway, alright, so I think that's fine. Let's see if we have any errors. It's unhappy. Alright, ambiguous. What have we got? Probably addition of vectors. It's grumpy. Vector 2 start point is a vector 3. Why are you vector 3? Get out here. happy? That was just 2 errors for the same thing. Alright, fine. Okay, so now we just need to go back to our... Oh, we're here. Okay, so we're gonna do a trace around, man. Alright, so how does this water worm one work? Actually, let's just delete this. Remove. If we go to the water worm and just copy it, because we're lazy. Copy component. And if we go back to here, paste component. So that's actually going to be pretty much exactly the same, because we're going to be using that. So now we just need a firing point, which will be this, essentially. And we're not going to have a direction. This none. And we're going to be chain. Let's see what happens. Oh, we need to not have these things be here. Let's just hide them. Thank you. It's probably not going to work. It's going to be horrible, but we'll see. Alright. What? Right, okay, so we got an error. So what does this say? Object not set to instance function. So our hit collider did not have a defense on it. Well, that's fucked. Let's see. Alright, so didn't get set. Alright, something is weird there. Can we not be spamming whatever this is? Can this just not do that? Alright, so locked on. Okay, so something appears to be wrong with Mr. Bandit Rider. Okay, so Bandit Rider, you have got... Where is your actual... Here's your composite. Here's your defense collider. So your defense collider has a defense listed. Is it that these individual ones don't? Oh, that's really annoying. Okay. Let me just put... so I think it'd probably work if I do it to the tin cannon. I think there's a composite collider issue. Potentially. No, we still get an error here. What is this saying? Alright, so we're still getting that this is not... So, hit collider is not necessarily present, so what we need to do is if hit collider is not equal null, then we can do this shit. So I think that might be the problem. So if we can just go down here, whomp, whomp, save that, let's see what happens. Okay, so maybe that'll fix the issue. We'll see. Let's see if we can get this guy. It seemed to be targeting him anyway. It's a bit weird. Okay, it did go away that time. And then we'll hit this Bandit Rider. Hopefully it doesn't kill our train before we can do that. Alright, we hit him. That worked, man. We got lightning. Yeah, you got Thunderstruck. Okay, let's see if we can get 2 at once. That'd be fantastic. Alright. Okay, let's see here, guys. I didn't see it. It's too fast. Alright, let's just maybe increase the duration here. Was that 0.5? I changed to 2. Alright, so let's see. I think we only saw the first of these. Only the first one showed up. Okay, why? Why? Oops, I forgot a step here. Also, we want break the other stuff. Alright. What is going on? Hold on, I'm gonna change his background because it's really hard to see what the crap's going on here. Well, maybe I won't because I can't be bothered. So only spawned one tracer. Let's just put some logs in. What the one was warnings, they're easy to see. Uh, oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, this is just me being an idiot. I gotta get out of using I, because it just causes me problems all the time. So... And I need to remember to use proper refactoring rather than just renaming something, because that was where my problem lay there. Okay, let's try that. That's more descriptive. Hopefully it'll fix the problem. Haha! Alright, that's successful. So let's remove this logs, and we need to change the lightning tracer back to 0.5 duration. And now we're going to duplicate it, actually, and we're going to put it to Tesla Coil. We're going to call it GD Tesla Coil Lightning Tracer Main, because there's actually two of these. And then we're going to duplicate it again, and we're going to call it Lightning Tracer Passive. Okay, I'm actually going to change this to say active. Okay. Let's get out of debug mode. So that's fine, that's fine. So what we might want is Roy wanted the passive one to be thinner. So I think we can get away with that by just doing 2.5 here. Oh dear. Alright, so and then we're gonna go ahead and decrease this width as well, and that will be the passive one. It will be a little bit smaller. And let's see here. I think we want everything else here to be the same. Hi guys. I'm making a 2D side-scroller game about a train, and it's sort of a combination of a tower defense and a shoot 'em up. So you set up your train at the station. You can change your loadout so you can have different weapons, different cargo, which you can throw at your enemies, and passengers you can passively help you. And then when you go through the level, you get attacked by different enemies. So right now I'm working on one of the new weapons, Tesla Coil, which zaps them. So I can show you what I've been doing just now. So this is one of the enemies, a bandit rider. We've got the tin cannon, which is a very simple enemy up there. And the Tesla Coil can lock on, and then it zaps them. It also has a passive area of effect, which I'm still working on right now. And I also need to get some... Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. So yeah, my coal, or my what did I have there? Scrap cart got destroyed. Right. So obviously this doesn't have a background or anything. This isn't a real level. This is just a sort of a test bed area because I'm coding and working on the functionality of the weapons and stuff. But yeah. So yeah. Neither of us, I'm glad you guys like the art. Neither of us are actual artists. We had to pick a really simple art style that we hope we could execute on and still make look good. So that's why everything is really, really simple and stylized, because, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Yes, we are. We are based in Scotland. So I'm actually American, but I moved to Scotland like 5 years ago now, I think, for university, and then I stayed, met my husband here, who's back here. He's wave, Roy, wave at the camera. Yeah, so anyway, I've been living here since then. Yay, Glasgow! We're in Dundee. It's not nearly as nice as Glasgow. Husband! Oh my god, no. I think the previous thing you said was way better. Husband is adorable. Oh dear. Alright, I'm gonna try hooking up this passive weapon zapper to use a technical term. Alright, so that's gonna be a chain. Won't really matter, will it? Prong. That's okay. You can make amazing. You think Dundee is nicer? No, you're incorrect. It is called Scum D for a reason. Um, to be fair, I think it's actually getting better. So. Hey, thanks very much for hosting me. I really appreciate it, man. All right, cool. So, let's see. What are we doing? We're putting this passive one here. Let's just see how we had the other ones set up. All right, so we got the Tesla coil top. And we want this to happen on fire. Yes, there is a Frankie and Betty's. We have been there. It was a little expensive though. All right. Let's see. Now we have to kind of hope this guy gets close enough. I think actually. Oh, whoops. That's not going to work, is it? Let's turn you off. Don't need a floating Tesla coil. Okay. I think now. Okay. Okay. No, I don't think he's in range. But this tin cannon should get in range. So the pass. Oh no, it is. See, look, he's zapping him. Yeah. Get zapped, man. Get zapped. All right. So that's working. Um, fantastic. I really should stop and like commit this to version control before I get things out of hand. Alright, so woohoo! Fantastic. The visual effects are pretty much done now. Obviously they'll probably need tweaking and polish, but the coding side is there. Uh right. So let's see what we've got. We're in the framework, so we updated this to make this more usable. So let's go ahead and commit that. So this is the most brilliant and interesting part of game dev, committing to version control. It's riveting. uh, all right. So the way I have my project set up, just for those who have not been watching me, I've got a framework code that is potentially, hopefully going to be used for future projects. I've used it for game jams and things like that. And then I have my actual project code. So the framework is just a folder of scripts inside the project. I recently found out that there's a better way to do this. Right now it is literally a separate repo, and then the main project just ignores it. But apparently I was talking to some Git people whenever I was at DevCom down in Germany last week, and there's apparently a way to actually have your like parent repo referencing this sub repo. So I'm gonna have to set that up because it sounds way useful. But I don't have it set up yet. So there was also some great stuff they were talking about getting. They were working on the Unity plugin for GitHub, and I was asking them, well, will it work? Because I use Bitbucket because it has free private repos, and it should work with any hosting, so that's really good. I'm really looking forward to using that in the future. It should make things a little bit easier for like my husband. Like I don't mind using SourceTree myself, it's fine, but for people who aren't coders, it's a little bit intimidating. I've got him using it now. He's doing a good job, but SourceTree.
Yes.
He's working on the animation for our main character right now, Dusty Beats. She's the person who drives the train and operates all the gadgets and things on it. And he's doing some animation for her for like conversation and dialogue bits because she has a much bigger sprite at that time, and he's gonna try. He's had to. It was already kind of separated out into bits for our sort of puppet style animation, but he's had to sort of explode it even more. The sprite.
It has hands now.
Oh my gosh, there are no hands in Armored engines, Roy.
Well,
The hands are only little points on the ends of.
here's her hand.
Oh, what? That looks really. I wish I could show this to you guys. It looks really odd.
Just flip it now.
Yeah, 5 years. I'm actually a little. I think if Roy had more of an accent, because he hardly has any, and he's from here. If he had more of an accent, I think I would have sucked up more of his accent because I can be kind of a sponge when it comes to accents. But because he doesn't have much of one, I think that's why I don't have too strong of one, but it comes out in certain, like, I think my O's are quite Scottish, and some of my speech patterns and word choice now, because I was just around a bunch of Americans, actually, weirdly, whenever I was down in Germany last week, because there was a bunch of people who'd come over volunteering that were American, and it was very strange to hear people say garbage and what else did they say? American things that you don't hear here because everyone says rubbish and stuff. So it was very strange to me because I'm so used to the speech patterns and word choices and stuff in Scotland now. But yeah. So anyway, all right. So what have we got? Uncommitted changes. All right. So we got a lot of stuff because I was bad and didn't commit this after updating my audio stuff that I just did. So we've got both the audio change and the actual lightning effect. And then some other stuff that Unity just decides that I need to update things whenever they're not related. So, okay. Let's see what we've got here. So we nope. What do we want? Trace around. Lock on input. What did they change here? Oh, I just removed a thing. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and commit the passive attack with it because I've changed the prefab. Oh dear. I hate it when it accidentally opens all the files that I have selected. No, we don't need the tin cannon. Alright, so this is the actual stuff that I'm going to just change that as well. Alright, so I try to reference the task number that I've been working on whenever I commit, just so I can find things again. SVEX for charge up, added visual tracer rounds for lightning, both active and passive. Alright, and we'll just push that. Push it. Did I push this one? I did. Okay. I'm going to leave this other stuff for now. So, now we need to do sound effects. So I believe Roy's given them to me, so it should be pretty easy to just hook them up. For y'all who don't know me, I do all the coding. I do the sort of producing, so task management and figuring out what we need to do next and all that. I handle our social media and stuff. Roy does all the art, all the writing, all the animation, and also now sound effects. We had a friend doing sound effects, but she's had to withdraw mostly from the project, so she does music still. But otherwise, all of the actual, like, pretty things are done by my husband. And I just do the technical things and the businessy things. Right, okay, so what we want now is on these weapons. We already have a weapon audio. That's for new target. So I believe I can add another weapon audio. So I'm still getting used to this system. I completely revamped this weapon system, I think it was last month, to be very, very modular and stuff, because my weapon script was just getting longer and longer and longer and longer. So now everything's broken out into bits. Not everything has to have each type of thing that a weapon can do, and it's been really good. And it's kind of funny how many times I go, oh, do I need to write a new script for that? Oh no, I can just do it with my system that I've got. So I've been really happy with it. So yeah, it's enough tooting my own horn, but I'm pleased with how it's turned out. All right, so we can just fire that. Looks like it's already set up in an intelligent way. And so that will happen when the weapon fires. And then down here, I can add another one, because this is on the passive version of the weapon. And it will use the passive attack audio. Don't actually know what this sounds like. It's really quiet. Oh, he's not there. I can't shout at him. Yeah, we got a problem right now. Most of our sound effects are too quiet and our music's too loud. So I'm going to have to see if he can fix that for me. But whatever, I'll get it hooked up right now. It's fine. Alright, so this will fire when this weapon that it's parented to here actually does its firing. So I'm going to see if I can hear this. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to turn this way up in my ears. I don't have the sound going to you guys, by the way, because I'm listening to music and it's not music that I'm allowed to stream. So, yeah, so I just have the sound turned off. I hope you don't mind. Okay, so, oh, no, I need to apply and turn that off. Okay, so let's see if we can get... Okay, I can hear it hitting. Alright, I think I could hear it there. It's a little hard to hear because the like explosion sound whenever that guy dies is very loud, but it's all functioning from what I can tell. Yay! Alright, cool, fantastic. Right. That's pretty much that's all our effects and stuff done. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. I'm gonna commit that now so I'm not a bad person and forget over and over. Did I? Okay, good. I've still got that. So, oh, those didn't get updated before. Alright, well, let's just commit them now. Alright. Those sound effects, Roy, are far, far too quiet. All of them. Especially the passive sound, firing sound. And the active firing sound could be louder too. But yeah. Oh, and I had a question for you. I don't think you were here whenever I was ruminating on it. When the charge up sound happens, is it okay if they're just layered? Like, do they have to turn off the lower one and turn on the higher one, or can I just layer them?
Try layering.
Okay, it sounds okay right now, but they're all really quiet. They all need to be higher too, so I won't know for sure. But it sounds okay to me.
The point of them quiet is because these things are going to be sounding all the time.
I understand that, but right now they will not be audible over the music. The other thing is, I think it might be nice to have a ching sound or some kind of audio when it actually triggers into being fully charged. But that's up to you. I don't care that much. I don't know. It's very easy to add later, so if you have the desire to add it, that's fine. I just remembered that we talked about in the past having like the cooldown show on the cursor. Are there tasks for that anywhere, or have we just never? No, cooldown on cursors. There's an art task. Okay, I'll leave the programming until that you've got an idea of what it's going to look like then, because that doesn't need to be done right now. But that's.
Prioritize my tasks so that they help you.
I already have.
Okay.
I think.
Is there anything I need to do
Oh no!
for you in the universe?
I went through it like 2 weeks ago.
You went through it like yesterday.
Yeah, but I didn't change anything. I just put some things to really low priority yesterday. I didn't really look at the other stuff. Honestly, most of your stuff is like done. So, what's the status on this buzzball clamp-on sound effects? And you've just finished this passive attack, and it's done. This is done. This is done. This is done. This is done. By the way, what we do is we usually put it in testing until I've implemented it and made sure it's working in game.
That's not
Hmm?
common. So clamp-on sound is the sawing sound.
That's no, you need. I assumed it was meant to be like,
Yeah,
yeah. You just need me to make that sound into a microphone. That's all you need.
figure that out later.
All right. Oh, the ball dropped. Does it go? Whoop?
It looks like she's dancing. I don't know how to move it.
She does this. She's like doing the. Oh no.
The poncho's color.
The poncho's fine. It's that her knee is also broken. I don't know if you noticed that.
That'll fill it with fun.
What? She's like going.
She's supposed to be like pointing.
Okay. Right. Okay. But so what's she doing? This is her being angry.
Yeah.
She don't look angry. She needs eyebrows.
Oh, that's a totally different animation.
What?
I'm putting those on the eyes animations.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So it's hard to judge whether she looks angry or not without like facial expression. It might be fine. Anyway. This would be a lot more interesting if you guys could actually see what he's showing me. I really want to get some kind of like duo streaming thing going, but I just haven't had time. We have one, potentially two exhibitions next week. I have a interview next week for a programming lecturing position at a college nearby. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that I get it. And oh, we just got so much stuff going on. We just came back from Germany. It's been a little bit intense the last month. All right, so it looks like I've got some of these. I'm just trying to clean this up a little bit. This is definitely not the most interesting thing for you guys. I'm just trying to. All right, I think the Buzz Bombers animations and stuff are all in game and done, so I'm gonna scoot those over. You haven't been adding. Make sure you add your time worked onto these as well. Bandit Rider sprite is done. I don't know. I think that's done. Da, da, da. What's okay? I haven't checked that. I'll leave it alone for now. Steam gauge is implemented. I have to check those later. You know what? I'll wait and check these later because I'm not 100% sure on some of these. Tesla is done because I've been working on that, so I know for sure that is ready to go. Essentially. It looks fine. It doesn't look like her arm's too long to me. Don't get depressed, and if you get stuck, change to something else. It doesn't look bad. It looks fine. Fife College. I don't know. Is what is DNA? Hold on, let me look this up. No, not Dundee and Angus College, as far as I'm aware. It's specifically the Fife College. But yeah, what happened was I applied for this position, and I applied for this position, and then I I just realized, Ham, who you are, by the way, and I was like, oh, I actually know this person. Um, anyway, so I applied for this position, and the interviews were scheduled while I was in Germany, so I couldn't go to them. Hey, it's a whole bunch of new people talking to me that I don't know, so I was a little bit clueless. be, be fair. Anyway, so I was in Germany and I couldn't go to the interview, and they wouldn't reschedule it. So I basically like thought, okay, that opportunity is gone. They said, well, if we don't find anybody that's suitable, we might reschedule you later. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen. There's going to be people who are suitable. And then I got an email yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't remember. And they were like, we'd like to reschedule your interview. And I was like, oh! So it'd be a really cool job. I'm really looking forward to it if I manage to get it. Because we're just living off savings right now. It's difficult. And I'd really like to be able to have an income again. And I've always wanted to teach. My mom's a teacher, um, so it's kind of in the family. I've done a lot of things with teaching, but never an actual full, like, never been a lecturer or anything like that. I taught after school science classes. I tutored. I was an engineering education researcher for a little while, but I've never been in a full like teaching position. Um, so yeah, it's something I would be really interested in. I I think I could do a good job. Anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping for that. And I think if it's something where I'm not coding all day, I'd be more likely to actually still want to code at night when I get home. Whereas when I was coding all day, when I was working a full-time game dev job and then trying to work on my own projects at home, it was really difficult for me. So we'll see. Um, anyway, back to what I was doing. All right, so I'm gonna stop looking through this stuff right now because that's not gonna be interesting for you guys. So right now, the other thing I want to check is if this Tesla coil. Thank you very much, Ham. Um, I need to check if this Tesla coil actually functions properly. So I need to check, does it hit up to 3 targets but not more than 3 targets? And I need to make sure it works properly if the targets are killed while I'm locking on to them. So um, what I'm going to do for that is I think I'm going to summon in more tin cannons. So right now, our level manager is using the enemy testing Q series, and I can just duplicate these tin cannons and just have them come in a little bit later. So this is going to come in at 1, and this one's going to come in at 2, and this one's going to come in at, oops, 3. Okay, so there's some more tin cannons. So let's just see now what we can do. Right, good. So as soon as we hit 3, it fires automatically. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to make all these tin cannons be on top of each other, how they were when I originally uh, did it, and make sure that it doesn't kill all of them. It should only kill 3 of the tin cannons. We'll see. I'm a little bit more concerned about this one. Yes, there's 1 left. Hurrah! It's working. Okay. I think we can safely check that off. That seems to be fine. So the other thing we need now is we need to make sure that if targets are killed during the lock-on sequence, their little icon disappears and doesn't get recycled with them, and that they don't like get a null reference or reference garbage whenever we're trying to zap them. So what we're going to check is the lock-on input script and make sure that it is behaving. So we aren't tracking these targets ourselves. We're simply using the targeting module. And I believe the targeting module registers its let's check. I believe it registers for the on defense killed and removes its defenses from its targets. Yep. So that should be handled because I did this intelligently, which is surprising, and didn't track my targets myself in my lock-on input. It simply adds them to the weapon's targets. So that's handled. The only thing that I would be concerned about is that icon showing up. So whenever it's I'm not being clear. The lock-on thing that appears on enemies whenever they're locked on, that may still show up, this cursor bolt. So let's just see what happens. It doesn't look like I keep track of them. So what it will do is it will parent it to the target. Yeah, so that'll stay there. That's a problem. What I'm going to do is add game object. We want a list. Game object spawned objects. Okay, and we're going to add a boolean here whether or not we want to get rid of this stuff. Hello, I am working on a game called Armored Engines, and right now I'm working on a new weapon for it, the Tesla Coil, which is this lightning tower, basically. So what I'm doing right now is attempting to make sure that whenever it's locked onto an enemy and the enemy dies, that it cleans everything up properly and doesn't leave lock-on symbols on the enemy when it gets recycled and stuff, because I use an object pooling system for everything in the game. So these enemies, when they die, they don't actually get destroyed, they just get recycled, and when they're recycled, they could potentially have a lock-on symbol on them, so we want to remove that. So we're going to have a boolean here. This spawned objects on reset. And I think generally I'm going to leave that as false because it doesn't. The behavior before was that it didn't do this. So I'm going to leave it as false for now because they're like if an enemy might spawn something when it dies, for example. That's common. So we don't. That means the enemy would be reset. We don't want its spawned objects to then be destroyed. So what we're going to have now. And it just occurs to me this is not going to work. However, because this is not going to work. Darn. Okay. Because the problem is that this is spawning the object on the enemy. So what we might need to do instead is right now, if we're using a target point for spawning, it's spawning on this defense. What it's using is this defense collider to find where to spawn, and it's parenting it to that. So what we might want to do instead is maybe add some kind of effects container for this object, for the enemies in general, rather than this, because this is not going to guarantee it's going to go away when it needs to. And we could use the same thing for like buff effects and stuff. And I believe they might already have something kind of like that. So let's just look at the cart. Let's look at the wood cart. CR wood. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what I've actually done already. Alright, so the defenses have the buff scripts or they use just the Armoured sprite here. Okay, so what I might do is move this out of the defense buffs and instead have it be a general effect route, so defense visual effect route or something like that. And that is where these defense effects can be added, and then when the defense is killed, those effects can be removed. And we'll do it with the we'll do it all through this script. So this will be a bit of a change to my sort of system here, but I think it's needed for all things like this in the future. They're going to need this kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So what I need is I'm going to need a new defense script. So what are we going to call this? Defense effects. That's really vague. Let's see. I mean, it's for visual effects. I'm just going to call it visual effects root. That's long, but it's more descriptive of what this actually is. Though it's not really a root, is it? I'm just going to call it defense visual effects. That's fine. Okay, so we'll just remove that. Okay. Now this isn't a defense action. It's more like the defense buffs. I needed to get rid of some of this stuff. There's too many things open here. Can't handle it. Oh, cancel. What's this? Okay, that's fine. This is stuff that I decided not to do. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Sorry, I just realized you weren't able to see any of that because I was in the other frame. I'm good at this, guys. I'm good at this streaming thing. Alright. As you see, I'm a big fan of copy-paste. Visual effect holder for a defense. Warp. Okay. Right. Effects root, effect anchor point, that's fine. We're not going to do this. So we don't need very much here comparatively. Do we need this object? We don't need object pool. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to keep out of this. We don't need that. Okay. Alright, so what do we need here? We do need some private data members because we need to keep track of these things. So we'll just do a list. Game object. Effects. Okay. So when we got reset, okay, so on disable. Trying to get out of using I just by itself because it's just so easy for it to get messed up. Alright, so we're going to set these to not be active. And I'm going to go ahead and unparent them because I know there's some overhead associated with that, but I just don't want them here anymore. Though I'm going to need to do transform to do that. Okay. Right, okay, so basically when this is disabled, so when the defense that owns these effects is disabled, then these effects are disabled as well, and they will be then removed from their tree, and then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it in that order. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so basically they will be triggered for recycle. Um, I think they already would be because they've been counting as disabled, but this ensures that they are not left as apparent, so that if they don't get recycled, then they would, yeah. So, okay, then we're gonna need a public methods uh, add effects. And we may also need a public methods remove effect, but I'm not 100% sure how, because I want to try to use this with the buffs that we've already, the buff system I ever got. So right now, when a buff gets added, all right, so here is this. The buff sets itself up. And where does this happen? Effect root set parents. So effects. All right, so that should be fine. Right. The only thing is, then it will still be in this visual effects list. So we can't actually do this by itself. So what we'll need to do is have this track the effects where it is. All right, okay. So that's fine. We can do that. So what we want to do then is require buff setup. Rather than a transform, the effect root effects container. All right. So add effects. Okay. And we can keep track of that effect. And then we can remove it. So if effect is not null, we can then, what we're going to need to do is track this effect container as well. So we'll put that here. All right, so effect container, and then we can set it. I can type really. Okay. Add it. And we'll null these out because these are getting recycled. Okay. And then we are not going to do these two things. And we're going to say, why is this angry with me? I'm not clear. Oh, because I've spelled private wrong. That's why. Alright. So, that's fine. Now we need to actually do this. So what this will do is and then we need to set we're setting the effects parent to be the effect root, and then we need to do effects add effects. Okay. And really we should probably only do this if if effect does not equal null and does not contain effect already. So probably we should only do that in that situation. And then down here, we're going to do something similar, only if it contains it. Effect set active false. We don't need to set its position. We'll set its parent to null. And we're removing it from the list. Only do this if it's non-null and the effects root contains that. Alright. Right, I don't think we need to do much here. I think that's everything. Okay, so oh, clear it. Good, fantastic. Okay, so now up here we can actually remove effect root, or maybe potentially we'll put it in the private data members. Okay, so this is now a defense visual effects. Okay. And then on awake, and I think we're going to need to require. Does this have a require component? No. I'll just have to remember how to do it rather than copy paste. Require component type of defense visual effects. Okay. And we'll say effects root equals get component defense visual effects. So this ensures that we don't have to set it. Yes, we don't have to set it. We don't have to manually put it there, and we're ensured that our defense buffs will be on a script on an object that also has a defense visual effects. All right, so then we just pass that through, which I think we already do, and that's now the correct type. Now this does mean that all of my defense buffs that are currently set up are going to be broken, which is not great, but that's, whatever. So what I need to do is add this defense visual effects to all of these buffs. What have I done? Whoops! I'm so good at programming, guys. Really, really great at it. Okay, so I still have my defense buffs here. Now, this is the thing. It wouldn't have let me add it without adding my defense visual buffs, but because it's already there, I can get away with it. So I add defense visual effects. We're going to have that be there. Okay, I'm going to have to do this for a lot of shit now to make this work, which is a bit annoying, but that's okay. I have a very useful plugin here that I've been using, this asset usage detector. So what I can do is I can say, okay, what items in my project are using this script? Because all those items are the ones I'm going to need to add this new script to. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to take a while. But it's super, super useful. I highly recommend this because what I originally got it for was for finding out assets I'm not using anymore. Because obviously this project's been around for a while, so we've changed and moved away from some assets. And anyway, so that's the main reason I got it, but it's actually been really useful for refactoring because I can say, oh, I need to change everything that has this script in it and find those items. So right now we got bandit riders. Let's just add defense visual effects. And I'm going to put it on the mover for now. Many of these may need to have better locations for this stuff, but that can be done later. At least this will make them not break. Was that the Buzz Bomber Hydra? Pufferfish. Saw engine. Tin cannon. Sigh. This is going to take a long time. But you know what? It would take longer if I did it later. So, yeah. Right, sorry. Tin cannon. Tin scout. Vulture. Wall scuttle. Get in there. Waterworm. Carapace cart. Reinforced cart. Scrap cart. Woods cart is already done. And right now, I guess Billy doesn't have a chassis. Okay, hold on. I guess he currently doesn't accept buffs, so I might need to change that later, but it's not already supported, so I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. Alright, so that's great. And that's done now. Oh, pardon me. Okay. So, right. Where were we? We were making sure this happens in the right way. So now, that was just the buffs that I changed to work with that effect thing, but I need to change that this weapon, the spawner, also works using that effect thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here, and we're going to, in this target section, so we need the defense, visual effects, effect root, targets, spawn index, get component, defense, visual effects. Okay, so this is going to go to our target, which is the defense, and get this. Okay, if it has this, then effect root, add effects, spawns objects. Right. I'm gonna it needs to have that. So that's how that's gonna work. Now the only thing that I'm concerned about is if maybe I'll make this optional. No, it needs to use it. So basically, effects that use this now are going to need to have something that cleans them up out of the effects when they're done. Because otherwise, these effects are going to clean themselves up, maybe be recycled, but then not be in that they'll still be the parent defense will still think that they are on it when they're not. So an example is a short-term effect like the swipe effect that the vulture puts onto trains. That needs to um, go be cleaned up. So what I think I might try to do is work this into the object pooling system. So what we can do is if we say, like, these game objects are always going to have object pool um, items on them. What we can do is, I am not sure if I have it, but I can add to it my object pool object when it's recycled. Yeah, I don't think it does right now, but I can add a callback. So things can register to listen to this object pool object. When it's recycled, then they can clean themselves up. So let's find, I'm so lazy. I really don't like having to rewrite like callbacks and stuff from scratch because I'm super lazy. So let's just copy these. All right, so my object pool object. Oh man, this is old. My old way of doing comments. So we'll have recycled object pool object. Or I would say on action. Okay. We don't even need to do that, right? Okay, so we'll just have no, we will include this object pool object. Okay, and then on reserve, just in case people want that as well. It's not necessary. Hello, PJ Draws. All right, so we've got. Now we need to actually apply these. So if all right, so we're getting recycled. Probably should only do this. Well, I can't decide. I think I want to put here. Yep. Hey, it's really useful. I would say it's one of the most useful degrees. Ken 1 LD. So good luck. It can be difficult. Some people, I'm really lucky because I picked it up really easily. And I had really good teachers too. So best of luck to you, and hope that it all comes easily and stuff. But if not, just keep with it because it's a really, really useful degree. So yeah, good job. Right. If on recycle is not equal null, on recycle, and we're gonna do the same thing down here. So on reserve. Just I don't know. I can't think of a use case for this right now, but it takes me 2 seconds to add. Oh, but I need to pass myself through this. All right. Pass myself through these functions because it's possible that this object will be listening to, or this callback, whatever's listening to it could be listening to more than one of these object pool objects. So we need to know which one it is. No problem, Ken. All right, so let's see here. So now, when this buff is added, we're going to add a callback. So we're going to use the on recycle callback. Okay, so and we're going to call it on recycle. Okay, so what we want is effect dot get component object pool object. Okay, so if it has an object pool object, I like how many objects I have in this this line of code. Like, I think I have the word object like 6 times. If that is not equal to null, object pool object dot on reserve, or on recycle, that's what we want, plus equals on recycle Oh dear, what have I just done? On recycle. Okay. So, right, and let me just guarantee this actually does what we want. So, the on recycle is called on disable. That's exactly what we want. Okay, that's perfect, perfect. So then when that happens, we get game object. Oh dear. Game objects. Objects. Game. This is a lot of the word object. I don't like it. All right. All right. Okay. So now we're gonna do. Well, all we have to do is remove effects. Right. Okay. Game object. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So in here, then we do. We just do this again. Right. But then we say minus equals. Okay. So that just will handle all of the removing. And then the other thing. Now I'm starting to feel like this maybe is not a good way to do this. So let's do while when mfx.count is greater than 0, we're going to do remove effects mfx 0. So instead of trying to duplicate this code, which was a terrible idea, and I'm not sure why I did it, we're going to just do that. So what that will do is one by one remove each of these effects, and it's going to use the same code for removal that I use everywhere else, and that's much better. Don't duplicate your code. It's a bad idea. Okay. Right. So, fantastic. Now, I think we might be close to being ready to try this out. So, just to help me, in summary, remember what I've done here. I've changed buffs, so they now use this new defense visual effect, and the weapon spawn will also use it, and we're gonna remove this bit, right? Okay, we don't need this anymore because we're just gonna be using this. It needs it, right? Okay, so yeah, I don't like, we don't need these. Oh gosh, I'm bad at typing. Get rid of some extra curly brackets there. All right, let's see if we have any errors. I probably have errors. Whoa, it's angry. Let's get rid of that. All right. So, okay, we're good. Now, let's see. Did I need to change anything here? Or are we already happy with how this works? This is still should be using targets. Okay, let's see what happens. This may crash and burn. Oh God, that's loud. Okay. All right. All right. We got an error. All right. What's the error we got here? Okay. So it's already being activated or destroyed. So it does not like that I'm setting this parent inside here. I was a little bit worried about this. Okay. That's really poop. The other thing I just realized is this should happen first, because otherwise I'm going to get on recycle called after on recycle we got called already anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, that could have been bad actually. Right, so I know this is an issue. I don't know what to do here. Let's just see. Okay, so I'm gonna check the internet. All right, Unity setting parent during on disable. Change hierarchy. That's good. Okay, so why can't I do it? What is there a way around? Object pools. Yeah, haha, there you go. Yes. Um, uh, okay. So
This is the same. This person's having very similar problems to me. No longer allowed to do this change on disable. Cannot change game object hierarchy while activating or deactivating the parent. Is there any function that is called before the parent is really disabled? Or any other idea on how to implement a pool in Unity 4 if you need to change the hierarchy in on disable or disable? Hmm. Right, okay. I might be able to not worry about this, to be honest. I just don't like that it's there. But I think it's probably, as long as I can set it to be non-active, it should be okay. Um, I just don't like that it's hanging about being a child of that object. It makes me uncomfortable. All right, that it's working though. It seems to be working. It's recycling those just fine, even after their parent objects have gotten taken away. One thing I'm going to do is check recycled objects, recycled enemies, and make sure that they're not showing up with these uh, things on them. So let's go ahead and now add a pause queue for remaining enemies. We're gonna move it. Can I? Oh, I'm thinking my. Uh, I was overestimating how cool my editor is. I cannot drag these. Okay, let's just see what happens here. Because now we should only have 2 of these tin cannons. Okay. So these guys will be used. Um, oh, I have to get rid of this guy. All right, now these guys should use. They're recycled versions of those other tin cannons. They don't have the um, lock-on thing on them, so they're okay. I also noticed that's in the wrong place now. I need to move it down. Anyway, so fantastic. Um, that seems to be working. I'm gonna call that a victory. So, oh dear, did I never commit this? Oh dear. Sometimes I worry about myself. Okay, so let me just save this and make sure that this is refreshed. Let me check this framework. Refresh. Right, okay, I thought so. So, object, pool, object, added, on recycle, recuckle, on recycle, and on reserve function callbacks. That will be useful for the future as well, I think. All right, so fantastic. And now, oh God, I'm just gonna, this is gonna be a lot of stuff. Okay, so what I've done is been working on, no, that's not what I wanted to copy paste. Ba-da-ba-dee-ba-doo, we want this. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these. Right. Uh, ensure that target FX is cleaned up on target death. Changed. Added defense script, defense visual effects, defense buffs now uses defense visual effects to manage effects. Weapon spawn now uses defense visual effects to manage target type effects, and updated all existing prefabs with defense buffs to have defense visual effects. Positioning of roots may be off and need adjustment. Yay. Alright, I'm just gonna commit all this shit at once. I'm having a great time, guys. A lot of you here are listening to me natter on. However, I have just become very hungry. So I think I'm gonna go. And I'm sorry. I hope you come back and listen to me again someday. I try to stream on Thursdays. I may stream more often than that because it actually helps me focus quite a lot when I'm working. And I may even stream more later today. But for now, I think I'm going to go get myself some food because I haven't had lunch and it's really late. So thank you again for listening to me today. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, wonderful rest of your week. And yeah, take care.